We knew Star Wars Outlaws wasn't going to do well, but did we know it was going to do this bad? Hey, everybody, I'm Craig. Welcome to the Side Scrollers Podcast channel. We are off this week. We're not doing the live show, but we will be back next week. Can't wait to see you guys then. With that said, let's get to this story, courtesy of That Park Place. Let's check it out. So the rumor right now is that it has only sold 1 million copies. Now, look, I'm going to tell you right now, most game companies, they sold 1 million copies of a game. You remember back in the day on the N64 was like 1 million seller, and it got its own customary box. It's like, oh my gosh, GoldenEye sold 1 million copies. That was a big deal. No. That was back before quadruple A games, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have our Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws, which was released not so long ago, only selling 1 million copies. So here it is. The new rumor claims that Ubisoft only sold 1 million copies, far lower than the analysts' expectations of 5 million. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to get exactly to the math behind this in just a second. So stay with me here, because this will make your jaw drop. So the rumor comes courtesy of Grant Taylor Hill at Insider Gaming, who reports we have secured a current sales figure from sources close to the game at the time of writing Star Wars Outlaw has just ticked over 1 million sales worldwide. Yikes! As noted by Hill, Assassin's Creed Mirage reportedly sold 5 million copies after 3 months. Now, look, a lot of people are going to say, look, it has nothing to do with the culture aspect of it. It has everything to do with the gameplay. Is the gameplay buggy? Yes, we've talked about that before. Is it a mess? Yes. Now, it is also coming to Steam, coming up later in November, and Ubisoft has said they're going to clean it up, rework it, and make it good for the release of Steam, which I don't really know what that really says about the current release of the game, but this appears to be even worse than initial reports. Game industry writer Christopher Dring noted that according to the UK sales chart, Star Wars Outlaws has done about half of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, we talked about that yesterday on the channel, but this has obviously not been very good news across Ubisoft when it comes to something that was exposed. People were expecting to sell 5 million copies, and then it did not perform. Now we have Assassin's Creed, the new one coming out, Shadows, that has been pushed to 2025, potentially later. And this is not reflected very well when it comes to Ubisoft's stock. Now, we saw this right here. This is the news of when Ubisoft announced that they were pulling out a Tokyo Game Show, as well as the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And you can see the big drop. It is down in the last 5 days, 12%. It's at a little bit of a rally, which I think, you see a lot of people who they're going to try to buy the dip. But we've talked about this many times. The overall decline of this company is just staggering here over the last 5 years. Once again, tapping out at $85. Now, let's do some math around this, because I think that's really, really important. There needs to be some perspective when it comes to how bad this actually is when you're only selling 1 million copies of a game. Now, using the trusty outlet known as Wikipedia, which, take that as a grain of salt. Wikipedia says that there were 600 developers who worked on this game over the course of 4 years from 11 different studios. So the numbers we're going to take from that are 4 years and 600 people who worked on the game. We're just going to say developers. And look, I'm going to be very honest with you. We're going to really undershoot this. We're going to be extremely conservative with our numbers here. So let's do some math here. I think it's very important to do it. Let's check this out right here. So once again, we're talking about, we have 600 people working on this game. And let's go and this is a very conservative, very low salary for a software developer. Let's just tack them on at like $120,000 a year on average. Okay. So that's 600 people at $120,000. And so there's going to be people who are going to be making way more, and there's going to be people making way less, right? So we're going to just average it out, right? We'll say 120. So put that is, what is that? 70. Whoa. Let's do some math there. 1, 2, 3. That's $72 million. Is that right? Holy shit. $72 million. It's staggering. I knew it was going to be that much, but it's staggering to look at and you go, where are the commas? Now, here's the thing. This game has been in development for 4 years. So let's just throw out some numbers here. Once again, take this all with a grain of salt. We're just doing some math to figure this out. So 4 years of development times that 72 million, that means it comes out to $288 million of development time. But let's not forget, Star Wars Outlaws had the biggest marketing budget in Ubisoft's history. what is that? Let's just go by the if we were to go with the movie, the whole idea of the movies, it's usually like double the production budget. Now, I can't in any way think that they spent almost $300 million on marketing this game. Like, there's a 0% chance of that. So we're just going to leave that out. So strictly from a development cost, strictly looking at this. Now, when you sell a game to a physical location, right? You sell it for usually they sell it to like a Best Buy or a Walmart. If they're going to sell it for $70, they're going to sell it to them for like $60. There's not a whole lot of there's not a big margin when it comes to Walmart and Best Buy and these big box retailers make it a whole lot of money. So let's just say they sell it to them for $60. Now, once again, we're not even including the vast majority of games which are definitely digital, which Steam takes what 20, 25, 30%, depending on the relationship they have. We'll just say they take 20%, right? So 20% would actually be taking more than whatever. Okay, so let's just say it's $60. So we're going to divide this by $60, and that's the make. So for them to break even on this extremely conservative model of revenue, of expenses, they would need to sell 4.8 million copies of the game. 4.8 million copies of the game. Once again, the analyst said they're going to sell about 5 million. That'd be the break-even point. I think it's actually considerably higher than that, just because we're looking at a number of different factors which haven't been included. I mentioned marketing, obviously, other costs associated with development, manufacturing of physical products when it's sent out. Speaking of those physical products, I have this insider who works at a big box retailer, and they've been outstanding as far as their information that they provided to me. And everything that they provided to me so far has been spot on. And I was talking to them earlier today about Star Wars Outlaws, and I had this tweet out, which I wanted to share with you guys. My retailer insider said that since the launch of Star Wars Outlaws, there have been very low sales. One store in particular with heavy foot traffic has sold 0 physical copies. None. Not a single copy of the game has been sold in their store. This one in particular store since the game was released. 0. So people are picking up Astrobot. They're picking up whatever. Go down the line. Zelda. They're picking up all these games. Not even turning their heads to look at Star Wars Outlaws. Crazy times. Look, if you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're closing in on 100,000 subscribers. I got more videos for you guys coming up later on. I would love to hear your thoughts about this down below. I got a video for you right here. Got the subscribe button right here. Welcome to the Normal Man.